Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our 11th Crystal Award dinner. My name is Megan Russell, and I am privileged to serve as the chair of the Ladies Committee of the Union League of Philadelphia. This year, we are thrilled to be honoring two of our own, Joan and Will Abele. We will begin our evening with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Deborah Dorsheimer, former chair of the Union League of Ladies Committee, followed by singing of God Bless America by Louis Scaglione of the Philadelphia Youth Orchestra, and then our invocation given by Karen Shue, the daughter of Joan and Will. Please stand throughout. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in singing God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you. Welcome everyone this evening. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. As you can imagine, I'm a very proud daughter to be standing here on behalf of my parents. So let us bow our heads and quiet our hearts and minds, remembering that we are in the presence of God. Tonight, we gather to celebrate the lives of two individuals who have led extraordinary lives. They have done so humbly, without looking for attention, praise, or admiration. Their choices, both large and small, have been rooted in their desire to do for others, to pay it forward, to look at life as a glass half full, to offer a kind word, to give the hug, to tell the story, to go the extra mile. Those deeds, big and small, have transformed the lives of those around them, and we are very grateful. God, we give you thanks for the lives of my parents, Joan and Will Abele. We stand in awe tonight of the many ways your grace is shown to us through their example. May your blessings continue to shine on them tonight and all the days of their lives. Amen.
Thank you all. On behalf of the Ladies Committee, the 72nd President of the Union League, Craig Mills, please be seated, sorry. So on behalf of the Ladies Committee, the 72nd President of the Union League, Craig Mills, and the Union League Board of Directors, I am pleased to welcome you here to the Union League of Philadelphia. We are so happy to be celebrating this remarkable Union League couple, so it's very fitting that we begin our evening with the traditional Union League toast. At this time, I call upon past presidents to join us. Frank Giordano, Joan Carter, and Greg Montanaro.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding.
Okay. Our first toast will be given by the 64th President of the Union League, the Honorable Frank Giordano.
Ladies and gentlemen, charge your glasses. This is a toast to the President of the United States. Hear, hear. Hear, hear. Please be seated for the next two toasts.
Our second toast will be given by the 67th President of the Union League of Philadelphia, Miss Joan Carter.
Ladies and gentlemen, please charge your glasses. A toast to the Union League of Philadelphia.
Here,
Hear, hear.
Our third toast will be given by the 69th President of the Union League, the Honorable Greg Montanaro.
Ladies and gentlemen, please charge your glasses. A toast to the 72nd President of the Union League, Craig D. Mills.
Thank you. I'm especially grateful to the Crystal Award Committee, led by Deborah Jacobs, that helped chair this and make this evening a reality. I know you join me in gratitude that tonight has arrived and that we are gathered to celebrate our friends, Joan and Will. It is altogether fitting that so many of our leaders are here to celebrate with us. I want to extend a warm and special welcome to President Mills again, past Presidents Giordano, Carter, and Montanaro, as well as past Presidents Dunnigan and Davidson. We're also pleased to have with us tonight leaders of the Union League and the Legacy Foundation, Vice Presidents for Activities in the Legacy Foundation, Tim Gillespie, Vice President for Finance, Arlene Yoakum, Vice President for Membership, Harry Hill, and the Chair of the 160th Anniversary of the League, Bob Cavalier. Also, the members of the Board of the Union League, the Legacy Foundation, which is the League's nonprofit charity, and our Chief Executive Officer, Jeff McFadden. I also want to acknowledge the many able scholars who are here tonight from the Union League and from Ursinus College communities who are here, along with several of their family members. Let's honor them. And now I invite you to enjoy your dinner, which, if you direct your attention to the screens, you'll have a lovely presentation on our guests of honor. Thank you.
Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, the festivities of the evening have just begun. The Ladies Committee of the Union League of Philadelphia created the Crystal Award to recognize the contributions of its recipients to the arts and humanities. Since its founding in 1862, the Union League has proudly supported and led in activities related to these endeavors. Among our members are great leaders in the intellectual, cultural, and humanitarian development of our city, state, and nation. The Ladies Committee has awarded the prestigious Crystal Award only 10 times in its history. A full list of the recipients is in your program and includes notable Union League leaders, Marguerite and Jerry Lenfest, Doctors John and Josephine Templeton, John and Lee Middleton, and last year's Crystal Award recipient, the Honorable Frank Giordano.
With us tonight to help celebrate Joan and Will Abele are three people who know them very well. The first, James P. Dunnigan, is the chair of the Union League Legacy Foundation and served as the 70th president of the Union League. Please help me welcome Mr. Dunnigan.
I like the way.
Good evening. Thank you, Megan, and thanks to you, Deb, the awards committee, and the ladies committee for all the work that you have done to make this evening possible. I am privileged to be part of this evening's program and to offer a few comments on this special occasion as we honor and pay tribute to Joan and Will Abele. We are blessed to have this opportunity to show our gratitude and respect for the contributions they have made to our community, to educating students, and for the example they have set for all of us to follow. I was honored when I was asked to say a few words this evening, and as I began to think about it, I have known Will for about 15 years. I was introduced to Will when we served on the Union League Admissions Committee and have interacted in business over the years. I also had the pleasure of getting to know Joan during that time. However, I realized I did not know their entire story. So I asked if I could spend a little time getting to know them better. Subsequently, we made a date about a month ago and ended up spending several hours chatting on what turned out to be one of the most pleasant afternoons I can remember. Some of the best books are those that you read in an afternoon and think about them for an eternity. This was that type of an afternoon. What Joan and Will shared with me is the American story, their story, a story of humble beginnings, hard work, obstacles, opportunity, grit, and determination. They told me this story, the American story, in their beautiful home, surrounded by signs of this success. Now, to paint this picture for you, you have to understand their home sits above and overlooking Independence Hall, an impressive sight. But I know that a lot of hard work is hidden by nice things. So what I learned about was a road that was filled with twists and turns, hills and valleys, helping hands, and love and affection. Will credits several individuals who provided him help, guidance, inspiration along the way. And I am certain they will be highlighted in his comments this evening. I do know that Will was impacted by his time at Girard College, when, at the time he attended, was a school for fatherless boys and was instrumental in molding him for the future. On his frequent visits to the chapel, he would see inspiration etched in the walls that he carries with him to this day. What he got was often words of encouragement saying, "You've got this." Hearing all that, I was reminded what Abraham Lincoln once said, "I am a success today because I had a friend who believed in me and I didn't have the heart to let him down." While Will is reluctant to admit it, he was able to make the most of the opportunities that presented themselves along the way. Thomas Edison said that opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed up in overalls and looks like hard work. Not the case for Will. But the opportunity he took the most advantage of was pursuing a young waitress by the name of Joan he met on his route delivering Canada Dry soda in Ocean City, New Jersey. I got the sense that particular stop received extra attention all that summer. But it became clear what a team they are. Joan accompanying Will across country when he worked in the West Coast, to upstate New York, and back to Philadelphia. Partners as he took risks of new opportunities, in the early years working on her own career, and then raising their family together. I witnessed the affection they shared for each other, the encouragement they showed for each to tell a different story or modify certain details, and importantly, the laughter they shared together. They also shared the belief in the value of education, as demonstrated by their generous support of the Abele Scholars at Ursinus and the Union League. It was Joan who led with the idea they established the Abele Scholarship, the Union League's employees' children, recognizing her and their affection, admiration, and appreciation for the Union League staff. And I know the Union League staff is eternally grateful. They also value the American way of life that promotes intellectual freedom, the freedom to succeed, and the freedom to fail. A nation that rewards ambition with opportunity. I close with a Greek proverb that says, "A society grows great when old men plant trees under whose shade they shall never sit." Joan and Will, our sincere thanks for all the trees you have and continue to plant. Congratulations on this recognition. You're supposed to do that. Get those in.
Our second guest is Andrea Condo Torres, an Abele Scholar from Ursinus College. Please help me welcome Ms. Torres.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Andrea Condo, and I am a senior at Ursinus College. I stand here before you representing the 72 Abele Scholars that Mr. and Mrs. Abele have helped over the years. It is truly an honor to be here, and I would like to take a moment to thank Mr. and Mrs. Abele for this tremendous privilege. You see, Mr. Abele and I met when I was merely 17 years old, a young girl with hopes, dreams, and aspirations, yet no way of paying for college. As the daughter of an immigrant single mother, opportunities for people like me have always been slim to none. However, my story with the Abele family goes back further than that. You see, the story begins in June 2000, when my mother migrated to the United States for what Ecuadorians call chasing the American dream. With no money, 2 kids, and a minimum wage job in New York City, my mother raised my sister and I to chase that American dream, to strive and to work for a better life. And throughout grade school, I submersed myself in academics and extracurriculars to make my family proud and to ensure a better future for myself. As the years went by and high school graduation was around the corner, I had to decide what I was going to do with my life quickly. College and eventually medical school were my dream from the get-go, but there was no way for me to enroll without a scholarship. At that point, it was either join the military or go to community college. One day, however, as I scrolled through the Ursinus website, I stumbled upon the Abele Scholars website. I decided to apply and eagerly waited for a phone call from the foundation. A few days after applying, I was working at Giant as a cashier when I received a phone call from the Abele Foundation, inviting me to interview. As silly as it might seem, I cried. I wept. I cried and frantically called my mother from the break room to tell her the good news. That interview, at the time I didn't know, was a chance at fulfilling my dreams. I didn't know that at the time, but that interview was a one-way ticket to success. It was a one-way ticket to the American dream. That is when I met Mr. Abele and his family. His grandfatherly persona was welcoming and supportive and just what I needed. The Abele family saw potential in me even when I did not see it. The Abele family saw so much potential so soon enough that I was accepted immediately into the Abele Scholar family, and my academic journey began to flourish. Not only was I offered economic support, but I was gifted lifelong friendships, meaningful connections with faculty and staff, and an opportunity at a higher education. Since then, the Abele family has adopted 62 scholars at Ursinus and has helped a total of 72 students at Ursinus College. As one of the 72, the foundation has helped fund our education while also granting us networking and professional development opportunities. The Abele Foundation focuses on supporting scholars in their journey to becoming well-rounded, knowledgeable, and philanthropic citizens. With their pay-it-forward mindset, Mr. and Mrs. Abele have taken upon themselves to instill those values in us and remind us of who we truly are. Albert Einstein once said, "Try not to become a person of success, but rather try to become a person of value." That is exactly what Mr. and Mrs. Abele strive to instill in us. Their generosity, humility, and support are the reason why 72 of us will become valuable citizens of society and go on to pursue unimaginable things. They are the reason 72 of us can fathom the idea of pursuing our dreams. They are the reason I have a dream, the American dream. Once again, I would like to congratulate Mr. and Mrs. Abele on this admirable achievement. I cannot express enough how thankful I am for you and for believing in me, for believing in the 72 of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Our third guest is Kira Foley-Tusman, the Chief Administrative Officer of the Union League Legacy Foundation. Please help me welcome Ms. Foley-Tusman.
Wow. How am I supposed to follow that? Andrea, you did an excellent job. As you've just learned, Andrea is just one of many who have been impacted by Joan and Will's generosity. Good evening, everyone. I'm honored to be here tonight to talk to you about my friends, Will and Joan Abele. I've had the great fortune to work with Will and Joan over the last 14 years. I started here with the then Foundations of the Union League in 2008. Will was serving on the Union League board, and Joan was a leader on the Ladies Committee. Here I was, this 24-year-old baby, sorry scholars, in this incredibly professional environment. But I believe Will and Joan saw something more. They recognized that I was willing to work hard and do my best. They saw potential in me, and our friendship started without me even realizing it. Will and Joan, in this incredible way that they do, championed me. They took a personal interest in my success, and they became invested, both professionally and personally. Over the years, we have worked together in a number of ways, through Good Citizen Day, the Union League Scholarship, Abele Scholarship, and many others. In the way only Will can, he loves to involve all his friends in all of his work, so we have gotten to know many others within the Abele orbit of charity. The Abele Family Foundation, Girard College, Ursinus, and the Abele Scholars Program there. I have seen the way that they dedicate themselves to each new project, to each new endeavor. Their investment is not just financial. It is an investment of their time and their wisdom. Joan has been a dedicated volunteer for the Legacy Foundation's Good Citizen Day program. She always arrives on the day of the program with her gorgeous smile, ready to take on the day. But when she really shines is the moment when the students arrive. The way she works with them throughout the day, she is so warm and welcoming with every single student she meets. It comes so naturally. It really is a special thing to see. Will has been involved with our scholarship program for more than a decade. And I must tell you just one story. It was 2018. We were conducting our interviews, and there was a student, Kevin Dewey's, who was deciding between two schools. One that would be much more affordable, but did not have her major, or even seem like quite the right fit. The other had her major, seemed like a great choice, but her financial aid package was barely existent. There was a twinkle in Will's eye. I know many of us know that twinkle. A smirk as he asked Kevin if she had ever heard of Ursinus. I think everybody in that room knew what was about to happen, the fate that would befall this young woman. Will called me later that night and asked if he could talk to her, if he could call her and talk to her about Ursinus. 3 days later, Kevin had applied, visited, had a great financial aid package, was accepted into the Ursinus Abele Scholars Program, and she decided to be a bear. Stories like Kevin, like Andrea, like all of the students who are here with us tonight, and the many more who could not be here. These stories are what happen through the generosity of Will and Joan, through their personal investment in their community, in creating the opportunity for education. They are the fiercest fighters for their passion to help others. They are some of the kindest, most caring individuals one could know. They make significant gifts to charities, but more than that, they give their heart and soul to these programs and organizations. Just a week ago, I was with Will in one of his favorite spots, oyster and beer night, here at the League. Though for Will, all of us know it as clams night. I had been out at Ursinus earlier that day. I had the chance to meet Andrea and was telling him about some of the students I met. He was moved by the stories as I was sharing and said to me, a bit choked up, "Kira, I think I have gotten so much more than what I have given." And that quote, I think, explains Will and Joan together more than anything else. Living in gratitude, grateful for the blessings they have received in life, but even more grateful for what they can do to give back. To close, I will borrow the words of Khalil Gibran, and I quote, "You give but little when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give." End quote. Will and Joan, thank you for giving so much of yourselves to so many of us.
Thank you, Jim, Andrea, and Kira. They were wonderful, so heartfelt. It is my privilege to introduce tonight's honorees, Joan and Will Abele. Two people who are so humble, they needed convincing to accept this award. Born and raised in Havertown, Joan often remarks that her father commuted every day to the land title building right next door to the League. How proud he would be of the many ways she has volunteered to many causes within the Union League, including serving on the Ladies Committee, which she chaired in 2011 and 2012. She also served as a trustee of the Youth Work Foundation, which you now know as the Union League Legacy Foundation, which provides civics and constitutional education to high school students and awards the Union League Good Citizenship Award to nearly 300 students each year. Today, she serves on the Good Citizen Day Committee. In addition to her work with civics education, Joan was also a leader with the Women's Committee of Cooper Hospital. Will, a Philadelphian who lost his father at age 3, was educated at Girard College and later Ursinus College, two places that we have heard and will hear shaped his life. Will became a Union League member in 1978. He served on the board of directors of the Union League and was a vice president in 2009. He served as a trustee of the Scholarship Foundation of the Union League and then as a trustee of the Union League Legacy Foundation. In 2021, he became a trustee emeritus of the Legacy Foundation. Will retired in 2016 from Henry Tromner, a manufacturer of precision weights, laboratory equipment, and a provider of calibration services, a company he owned and operated for 45 years. Will has served on the board of trustees of Ursinus College since 1992 and currently serves on the boards of the Philly Pops and Haddonfield Friends School Committee. In addition to the Legacy Foundation and Ursinus College, and those you've already heard, Joan and Will are generous benefactors to Williamson College of Trades, the Chewonki Foundation in Maine, Philly Pops, Lucy Outreach, and a host of other nonprofit organizations. Together, the Abeles have not only supported the League and its nonprofit charities with their time, but also with their exceptionally generous financial contributions. They have funded care for archives and art in the League, civics education programs for high school students, and scholarships for young men and women to pursue post-secondary education. Joan and Will's approach to philanthropy is rooted in their life experience, and they share belief that education has the power to change lives. Following his father's death, Will attended both Girard College and Ursinus College because of generous scholarships provided by others. To pay forward the support that was given to them, Will and Joan established the Abele Family Foundation. In 2018, the Abeles established the Abele Scholar Program at Ursinus College and fully funded it with $11 million donation in 2020, the largest donation in the college's 150-year history. The Abele Scholar Program supports students from lower middle-income families with demonstrated financial need. The class of Ursinus College Abele Scholars graduated the first class in 2022. This fall semester, there are a total of 62 Abele Scholars at Ursinus. In 2019, Joan led the charge to initiate a new scholarship program with the Union League Legacy Foundation, establishing the Abele Scholarship for Employed Children. This provided aid to the children and dependents of the Union League employees. The Abeles not only provided the initial gift to fund the creation of this program, they made a matching gift, challenging other League members to support it, and remarkably also funded the first 3 years of scholarships directly to allow time for the fund to be established. There are currently 12 students, children of Union League staff, pursuing their dreams, and thanks to the Abele Scholarship Program, with the first class graduating this spring of 2023. There is no doubt that the Abele's generosity, their example of paying it forward, and their commitment to living out their values and principles in their every action makes them exemplary models of love of country leads. I now invite Craig Mills, President of the Union League, Megan Russell, Chair of the Ladies Committee, and our honorees, Joan and Will Abele, to join me on the stage for our award presentation.
While Will and Joan are making their way up, I'd like to tell a story on them. My involvement in this wonderful evening began about 6 months ago when I received a phone call from John Miko, the executive director of our Legacy Foundation, saying, I'd like you to come down to the Legacy Foundation and help us convince Joan and Will to accept the Crystal Award. And I said, hang on a minute, John, let me get this straight. You want me to help talk these nice people into going to a fabulous dinner surrounded by scores of their friends, where everyone will say nothing but nice things about them all evening, and at the end of the night they go home with a really cool Crystal Award they can put on the mantelpiece and be proud of for the rest of their lives? Sounds like a pretty easy sell. And he said, yeah, you would think so, but you don't know Joan and Will. They shun praise, and they don't like the limelight. Now, being an attorney and a litigator, and therefore a praise-seeking egomaniac, this was counterintuitive to me. But I went down there, and I met with Will and Joan, and sure enough, it took the combined efforts of John and Kira and Megan and Kristen and me over the course of a not insubstantial period of time to convince Joan and Will to accept this award. At times, I felt like a used car salesman and I was losing the sale. Thought I might have to call my manager. But eventually, they agreed. And when they agreed, you could tell by the look that they exchanged between themselves that they didn't agree for their own gratification. They didn't agree because they hoped to be delighted by this evening's event. They agreed because they didn't want to disappoint us in our desire to thank them for all that they have done for us and for the greater community. They came here tonight not to be praised and built up because they didn't want to let us down. And I find that beautifully fitting and marvelously ironic, because even in agreeing to be honored for a lifetime of charitable acts, Joan and Will performed yet another charitable act. They did something for somebody else and not for themselves. And for these reasons, and all the reasons mentioned by the eloquent speakers who preceded me, it is my honor, on behalf of the Board of Directors and the entire membership of the Union League, to present Will and Joan Abele with the Crystal Award.
As most of my friends at the Union League know, that public speaking isn't my gig. And having to follow the people that spoke tonight is really tough. But I want to thank you. I want my thanks to all of you for honoring Joan and me tonight. I was to take a moment to thank all those who tonight such great success, especially our President Craig Mills, the Vice President for Activities Tom Gillespie, and the entire Union League Board of Directors. My thanks also to Bob Cavalier, the chair of the 160th Anniversary Committee. My thanks to the Ladies Committee, led by Chair Megan Russell, and Deb Jacobs, the chair of this great event, the Crystal Award. And thanks to those who said such wonderful things about us, Andrea, Kara, and Jim. There are a few special guests that I would like to thank for being here this evening. My beautiful daughter, Karen, and my grandsons, Robert and William. Joan's college roommate, Lynn Nicolai, and the person who has known me longer than anyone else in the room, my classmate from Girard College, Bruce Perzelli. In response to these gracious remarks about me and Joan, I'd like to give you my perspective with a focus on my educational experiences. And I want to leave you with a few challenges. In hearing some of my story, you may get the impression that I had to overcome great obstacles. On the whole, I do not think that this is the case at all. I believe that I'm someone of great fortune. I'm a very lucky man. The Greek philosopher, quote, asked the question, who will teach the children and what will they be taught? I want to tell you about those who taught me and what I learned from them. My first teacher was my mother. She taught me that hard work and perseverance are keys to success. She taught me values, that there is a right and wrong, that there is a higher power, and that we must treat others as we would have them treat us. This is what my mother taught me. My second teacher was Stephen Girard, or more specifically, his school, Girard College, which has educated over 21,000 students. I entered Girard College at age 8, 5 years after my father died. There I learned about Girard, the forgotten patriot entrepreneur. He was a self-made man. When he died in 1831, he left his vast fortune to charity. At the boarding school that bears his name, I was taught to be independent, respectful, and to be a good citizen. I was gifted a fundamental sound education and a trade. We had chapel 3 days a week. There was a quote of Girard in the chapel. It said, quote, "My deeds must be my life. When I am dead, my actions must speak for me." This is what Girard taught me. The next teachers were my professors at Ursinus College. They challenged me intellectually. They taught me to question ideas to find my own answers. At Ursinus, I received a classical liberal education, an education based in reason. I learned a proper disregard for authority. At Ursinus, my professors cared about me as an individual. They were mentors such as Richard Shelhays, a professor, theological advisor, alumni secretary, minister, and my wrestling coach, and the person who kept me on course. Ursinus gave me the practical tools and intellectual foundation to be a success. This is what Ursinus taught me. I had the good fortune of being hired to work for Henry Tromner, the largest weight and measures company in the world, up until the time I sold it in 2016. Without meeting Mr. Park, Laird Park, who ultimately handed the reins to me, Joan and I would not have been able to help so many people. It is because of the free enterprise system that this was possible. Mr. Park was a man of culture. He introduced me to art, drama, fine wines, food, literature, history, and music. He introduced me to the Union League, this patriotic Union League that brought together people of good character, success, most important, integrity and generosity. It will become another home for Joan and I that would create friendships that would last the rest of my life. The motto of this great league is, quote, love of country leads. This is what Mr. Park and the Union League taught me. In 1958, I met a beautiful young woman in Ocean City, New Jersey. This woman became my lifelong love. Joan taught me patience and kindness, perseverance and devotion, and most importantly, forgiveness. She is my partner in all aspects of my life. She is kind and understanding. Because of Joan, I'm a better man. This is what Joan has taught me. When I think about some of the most important specific lessons I learned, they can be summarized by the following. I learned when our new nation proclaimed all men are created equal, that this was meant as a universal idea, and that it meant all people, male and female, of all races and creeds. I learned that the Constitution was a document of freedom and liberty. I learned that we should judge each other based on the content of our character, as Martin Luther King told us. I learned that entrepreneurship, capitalism, and business were essential to liberty, and that the free market system was a system that produced the most good for the most people. I learned in education, diversity of thought is essential. To the extent that I have had success, education has been the key to that success, and Joan and I have devoted a large part of our lives to ensuring others have the opportunities for education we did. But I'm fearful that today's children may not have the same opportunities we had. That if our schools and institutions do not teach that our democratic republic has created more freedom for more people than any other country in human history, then they will not respect it. What if they did not understand that the free enterprise system and individual liberty are the keys to a prosperous, free society? Then they will want to destroy it and put in place an all-powerful state. And if our students are taught to think alike without competition of different ideas, they will never be truly enlightened students. With this in mind, I would like to challenge all of you tonight. To the students, I challenge you to be good citizens, that you become self-reliant, and to be active members of your community and your nation, and that someday you make possible what has been made possible for you. To the educators, I challenge you to rediscover and embrace the values that I was taught, to teach in the classic liberal tradition, to create classrooms and campuses where diverse and competing ideas are welcome, and to make certain that our students are challenged to think and to be comfortable with being challenged. My challenge to the Union League and my fellow members is to fully embrace the first line in our bylaws. Every member shall support the Constitution and the free enterprise system. To do more to educate both ourselves and others about these values. It is these good people, the Union League staff, that makes this league the best club in the United States. When I first joined the league, there were less than 100 of them. Today, there are over 1,400. Last year, we gave 4 scholarships to the sons and daughters of these wonderful staff. Soon we will have many more to give scholarships to, but we need your help. We need your resources. Make a contribution to the Legacy Foundation and help Joan and me help those families that make the league so special. Finally, I have a challenge for all of you. As I look around, I see successful people. I know that my fellow members have all had success. Most of them, like me, started with very little. Many of us are what they call type A personalities. God bless us. Hardworking and industrial, always trying to improve. My challenge is this: don't let where you're going allow you to forget where you came from. Don't let where you're going allow you to forget where you came from. I have constantly reminded myself of that throughout my life, and I can tell you that it naturally keeps you moving in the right direction. My friends, I thank you for this honor that you bestowed on Joan and me. Tonight is an affirmation that you believe in what we believe in: liberty, love of country, education. I hope that you will work to ensure that these beliefs continue for many, many generations. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The last time I heard that kind of applause was when I won a wrestling match at Ursinus. With that, I think Joan would like to share a few remarks of her own with you.
Oh, thank you. I just have a few remarks to make about some of the students that are here tonight. That's why we are all here and the purpose of this wonderful evening. We had 3 students who were part of the Union League Good Citizen Award. And I'm not sure if they're here, but this was the award in 2021. And one is Dimi Olatio, and she is a graduate of Parkland High School, and is enrolled at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. Another is Jake Harrison Richards. He was nominated for the 2021 Union League Citizenship Award, and he was from the Philadelphia Youth Orchestra, a graduate of Westtown School, and Jake is pursuing his bachelor's degree at Columbia University. And Daisy Pina was nominated for the 2021 Union League Good Citizen Award from Lucy, that's Lifting Up Camden Youth Outreach. Daisy was graduated from Camden Catholic High School in June, and she attends St. Joseph's University. The scholarship for the students was in 2019 that we set up, and there are 4 who I believe are here tonight. Michael Bouchard, he is the stepson of Michael O'Neill, and who is with the Union League's engineering department. And Michael wants to attend the auto training center and plans to become a mechanic. Morgan Delaney has been sponsored by the Cigar Club here at the League, and she's the daughter of Doug Delaney, the head golf professional at the Union League National Club. Georgia Erdman is the daughter of Bridget Combs with the League House dining team, and a 12-year employee of the Union League. Georgia was graduated from Sterling High School in June of 2021 and is enrolled at Rutgers University. And Kanan Grierson is the daughter of Sharina Grierson, who is the revenue administrator with the accounting department. And she's a 26-year employee of the Union League. A graduate of George Washington Carver High School of Engineering and Science, Kayan is attending Boston University. So they are very special students to go on to such prestigious schools. A few of the students are with their parents tonight. Georgia Erdman is Bridget Combs' mom. Is that right? Or the other way around? And Alexis Aquila is the daughter of Victor Aquila. And Kendall O'Neill is the daughter of Cheryl O'Neill, who works out at our new club. And I mentioned Michael Bouchard and Mike O'Neill and Sharina Grierson. The other thing I would like to do is thank the two people that help us when we're interviewing the students for the league, Amara Briggs and Steve Target, and I know they're both here tonight. And that's the serious part, but I have one funny thing to tell you. I was sitting here thinking about all these years past, and back in 2012, I became friendly with a very, very special member of the Union League, Pina Templeton. All of the older folks here tonight will know Pina and John Templeton. Pina was on the ladies' committee when I was the chair of the ladies' committee. She was very different than I am, but we bonded. We had a great relationship. I enjoyed time with her, and I knew that she liked to be with me. So when we got together on the committee and nominated her for receiving the Crystal Award, I said to the girls, now this is going to be tricky. I know Pina and John, and they're very laid back individuals, and they don't like attention, and I'm not sure they will accept. So let me try to work this out. So I took Pina to lunch one day, and I said to her, Pina, the ladies' committee and I have really discussed this, and I'd just like you to listen. We would love for you and John to receive the award for the ladies' committee. And she said, Joan, nobody will come. And I'll never forget that. So when this was all presented to us, I kind of thought the same thing. Well, nobody's gonna come. We know what we're doing here and we do it, but nobody's going to come. And look at all of you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan and Will. In addition to all the lovely things that you heard today, we'd like to share with you this tribute book of congratulatory letters from your dear friends, your colleagues, and your admirers.
Thank you.
Being tutored.
Another round of applause for the Abeles. Thank you. Thank you for a wonderful evening, and please drive home safely. Yes, we're gonna before they leave. Yeah, we're gonna get the kids.